Sheik, Sheik. Hello everyone. Well, this song is the first time I play it, so be nice, and I really hope that you enjoy. Thank you. Thank you so much. Gracias.
Thank you, Fernando. What a great way to start our service today. Good afternoon. My name is Tim Boeve, and I'm today's service associate. My good friend Greg Kemp will be presenting our message today. And before we begin, if you just take a moment to silence your cell phones, that would be wonderful. And we're certainly glad you're with us, either in this space or on Zoom this afternoon. And you are most welcome to this sacred time of fellowship. That is being present. The screen's kind of blinking back there for me. We're good now. To this time of being present with one another, this time of listening to words that are spoken or read or sung, or words that arise unbidden from within ourselves. You're welcome to this time of sharing our mutual love and respect for each other, the sharing of our gifts and the sharing of our joys and sorrows. All of this we do in recognition that when we come together in these shared ways, we build a community of trust, of faithfulness and service to one another and to our world. So welcome indeed. to our LCUUF Sunday service. May this time be spiritually enriching for each one of us. And if you are new and would like to receive our newsletters and other emails, I think, yeah, we're having some trouble with our tech today. Gives me a chance to really center and be present, doesn't it? Please talk to a member of our welcome team, and if those members would raise their hand for a moment so they can be identified, so there they are. And also you can find information about this wonderful fellowship on our website at lcuuf.org. And now, a special welcome to our visitors. If you are visiting for the first time or have returned or reconnected after a long absence, what we'd like you to do is slip your hand in the air, and the mic will be passed to you by Carol. And when that mic is in front of you, say your name and where you're from. And we'll do this in the room first, and then we'll do it on Zoom if we have visitors on Zoom. So, any visitors or returners today? Great.
Oh, okay. I'll be back. Hello. My name is Beth, and this is my wife, Jan, and we are visiting from Los Angeles and planning to move down here by the end of the year.
Welcome.
God, I didn't eat breakfast.
I'm Carol Kinchy, and this is my husband, Larry Greenberg. He would say that I speak for him all the time, so I'm just going to do it now, too. And we are from West Ajijic most of the time, and Portland, Oregon the other time.
Great. Welcome.
Anybody else?
Hi, I'm May. I'm Tim's daughter, and this is my husband, Dave, and this is our daughter, Lucy, and we live in Oakland, California.
Welcome. Anybody else? How about on Zoom, Barley? Do we have any visitors on Zoom today?
No. No?
All right. So here we are. So everybody's welcome, whether you're here for the first time or been here 100 times, right? And we do offer a wide variety of topics here, and we're going to hear another one today later. And these are presented by folks like myself, members of this group, our pastor, our minister, Reverend Matt Alspaugh. And you're always welcome to be here to listen to these messages and to be a presenter yourself if you would like. So come back often to experience this variety of thought and expression. And as we light our chalice today, we can take this moment to further center ourselves and feel appreciation for the gift of this fellowship. In our fractured world today, we have this opportunity to be together for a time of inspiration, renewal, and community. And this can be a real grace note in our lives, as you know. We cannot undo all the harm that is present in so many parts of the world today. Yet here, right here, and on Zoom, we can focus for a while on the ways that make this world a better place. We can be enriched within ourselves, and we can strengthen our resolve to be the best caring and loving selves for each other and for all of God's creatures without exception. So, may we be present to all that this moment offers us, and as our chalice is lit, experience both its visible light and the love and the flame of light and love that abides in each one of us. Now, having lit our chalice, let's sing these words together. Kindle celebration for the life that we share. And this is a time in our service when we take a moment to briefly share our joys and our sorrows, as well as milestones, those things that we are holding in our hearts that we want to make others in this fellowship aware of. Just a sentence or two is enough. We'll start again with the folks in the room to give those on Zoom some time to type their joys or sorrows into the chat box. So once again, if you have something that you're joyful for, or something that you're sad about, or some milestone you want to recognize, slip your hand in the air. Carol will come with the mic, and we'll give you a chance to speak that out.
Hi, I'm Flo Rhodes, and this truly is the highlight of my week, and I look forward to being here with everyone and hearing the words, feeling the heartfelt feelings that we all share. And that's it.
Hi, I'm Jan, and I just want to remind everybody that May 4th is Emerson Sunday. It's going to be a very different service. We don't know yet what we're going to be leaving out and putting in, so do come and see the surprises we have in store for you. Lots of talent in our congregation and lots of interesting things to see and hear.
Great. Emerson Sunday, May 4th. Thanks, Jan.
Hi, I'm Devorah Kelly, and I'm just so joyful that I have lived long enough to be the mother of adult children. Because my daughter who's 36 was here. We spent 6 days in Oaxaca together, and then she was here for about a week and a half. And usually she comes for a shorter visit, and we do our little angst mother and daughter thing, but she was here long enough that settled out. And I got to experience having another adult woman who I gave birth to in my house, and it was awesome. So joyful that I have amazing adult children.
My name is Paul Bennett. This past week, my partner of 40 years, Jean Haley, who was a founder member of this fellowship, passed away. She had been in a nursing home here for 9 years with dementia. So I'm so glad that I had Jean's son, Bill, here to help us through this difficult process. Without him, I don't know what I would have done.
Anyone else here in the room? Norris? Oh, Bill.
I'm the aforementioned Bill, and I'm very joyful for my mom's long and meaningful life, and that I was able to be here in her final days, and for all of you who have given her such love and support over the years, many of whom I saw on Friday for a little Irish wake. Mm.
Over the last number of weeks, I've had the opportunity to work closely with Ellie. And I want to say what a joy it has been and what a learning experience it has been. We've been working on the To Whom I May Concern project, working with people who have cognitive changes. And on April 7th, we have the performance. The Readers Theater will be held here. And I just encourage everyone to be here for that because it's so beautiful, so impactful, and so important that we get on board with understanding what it's like to live with dementia, with Alzheimer's. And so I just want to acknowledge Ellie for her huge heart and commitment to this work.
I am Noris, y I just want to say that I'm very happy that we have Tim's daughters and granddaughter Lucy and Dave here. So it has been an incredible journey to be with a family. And Tim has been very, very happy to be able to connect with his granddaughter. So thank you for coming and to share this.
Yeah, I'll second that for sure. And along with this true joy, I have a sadness to pass along as well. A good friend of mine and of many in the community, Howard Pressman, passed away very suddenly this past week of heart failure. Howard was the kind of person that if he was in a room, you knew it. And so on Tuesday, there's going to be a little commemoration for him at the organic market. And then there'll be a service at some point in the future for those who knew him. And I know he knew some of the folks here in the fellowship. So prayers for his wife and thoughts, Teresita, a Mexican woman who he met and married here. And anyway, that sadness I share with you and ask you to hold that with me. And then since we're talking about things that we would like people to show up for, some of you or many of you are handed one of these today. There is a rally next Saturday in the plaza, Keep Your Hands Off rally. And it's directed to our government in the States about that. So if you want to show your solidarity with the Canadian folks and with the Mexican folks, come to that rally. And there'll be some people right from this fellowship who will be speaking at that rally. You'll recognize them when they get up behind the mic there. So I invite you to that. Now, Barley, what have we got on Zoom today?
We have a joy from Colleen Berry. Last March, I was diagnosed with breast cancer and had to move to Austin, Texas for treatment. I can now share that a year later, my doctor has been able to declare that officially I'm in remission. I am feeling so relieved and grateful. I am looking forward to a visit to Lakeside this summer.
Wonderful.
That's all.
Okay, that's a great, joyful note to end on. And of course, there's things that don't get shared for one reason or another, and that's why we have this care candle back here on the table. And we light that candle for all the things that are expressed both aloud or that we're holding in our hearts. And we'll just take a few moments of silence as we acknowledge all of those feelings. Thank you. And now is the time in our service for our offering. And as we pass the baskets, if you happen to be new here or are visiting, just let the baskets pass you by. The fact that you're here is a gift enough for us and is a present. Your presence is just perfect. And for all of you who are here a lot, you know that what we give in these baskets every week goes to an outside charity here in Ajijic. And this month, that charity is the food bank, the month of March. And you can find a nice description on the monitor about that very worthy charity. And so as the baskets are passed, you can read about that. And I'm going to thank you while it's happening, thanking you for your donations today and for the pledges you make to this fellowship that you give throughout the year. These acts of sharing not only serve the needs of others, but also, as it happens, enrich ourselves as we're freed from tightly grasping onto something we can't hold on to anyway. So giving in this way blesses both us as the givers and, of course, those who receive our gifts. And it's really a gift when we do it from our hearts and with intention. So thank you for all of your generosity today. Now, time to get up and move, or at least move your voices as we have our opening hymn. If you're able to rise, either in body or spirit, we're going to sing, even though it's afternoon, morning has broken. We're going to sing along with Cat Stevens, and the words will be on the monitor, so let it rip.
Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the world. Sweet the rain's new fall, sunlit from heaven, like the first dew fall on the first grass. Praise for the sweetness of the wet garden, sprung in completeness where his feet pass. Mine is the sunlight, mine is the morning, born of the one light Eden saw play. Praise with elation, praise every morning, God's recreation of the new day. Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the world.
Our reading today is a poem titled Come, Come, and it just so happens that it's written by our speaker, Greg Kemp. Beyond unending space and within shallow time, love says, come, come. Within the depth of matter and inside each moment, love says, come, come. Riding the coldest winter wind and in the hot summer sun, love says, come, come. In ethereal and fanciful dreams and deep in the seriousness of logic, love says, come, come. In the agony of prolonged heartbreak and in the burning ecstasy of your eyes, love says, come, come. In the distant lands of exotic sense and here in the suffering of darkened alleys, love says, come, come. come. To the defeated innocents and to the winning perpetrators, love says, come, come. To those lost in the desert of this world and to those who have found an immortal treasure, love says, come, come. Who can be deaf to this thundering whisper? Who can resist the torment of this healing journey? Oh, my heart, always and forever, to the sweet song of beloved, love says, come, come.
I'm it? Okay. I'm going to take it just in case. So I'm grateful to be here today in this gathering. And I would like to make an invitation as well to all the light holders that you see here on this wall and others. I would invite them to be present today because I know they do have the fluidity and faculty perhaps to travel in time and space to make visitations. So I would make an invitation for them to be present. And which will come in later, you'll understand, I really appreciate that they're dancing. Like, this is a really good thing. I love this. So I'd like to really start by remembering the name of this, living the greatness that we are. This is a big undertaking. And I'd like to start with a reading from Hafiz, who was a 12th century Persian poet that is really beloved and renowned in what was Persia, now Iran, and throughout the Middle East. Just sit there right now. Don't do a thing. Just rest. For your separation from God is the hardest work in this world. Let me bring you trays of food and something that you like to drink. You can use my soft words as a cushion for your head. And another short poem of his. Now that all your worry has proved such an unlucrative business, why not find another job? So I believe that's why we're here. I believe this is the employment agency for that other job. So let us be employed in finding that other activity in life. So the greatness that we are, you also could see that maybe I spelled it wrong. It could be the great mess. So I'm not sure if there was a slide there, but there could have been. Because this is the paradox of being human, that we have these sides of ourselves. We have this incredible spark that keeps our heart beating, that we don't have to remember to breathe, that we have this life that we share with everything. And I believe the metaphysicians and the mystics of the past really knew well before the people that study physics now, that they have confirmed what the mystics always knew. So another thing I would say to you is don't believe anything I say. Please. Sit between belief and disbelief and really rely on your own touchstone in yourself to really, because I may drop something in that just might be BS, just to see how things are. So I would encourage you just to really listen and see if this makes sense or it doesn't make sense. And it may not, you may go, and this is just crap, really. But I'll leave that to you. So this perfect imperfection has been looked at for millennia. The mystics have tried to explain the perfection of the human being and the greatness of the human being. So have poets, musicians, philosophers for millennia. And I don't believe they have succeeded yet because we're still talking about it. Like, don't you think we could put it to rest at some point? But, so I have 25 minutes to basically try and deal with this. So, yeah, right. Good luck with this. I want to also say that I am a witness to your greatness, to each one of you, that this spark of greatness lives in every human being here. And I would ask that you reside in that. I would ask that you accept that, embrace that, and that you really understand that that is really our identity. So this paradox of being a human being is, on the one side, it's good news, bad news. The good news is that we are the crown of creation, that we are the embodiment of perfection, and we're also human beings and imperfect. So the crown of creation, going to that side of things, we have a vertical access that we can access. We have the capability, the key word is potential and possibility, that we have this capability of reaching the subtlest realms of consciousness. We have the capacity to reach omniscience. And with this, we also have this access which goes into the world, and we are the coarsest matter, that we exist in the physical world. So again, this paradox exists. So it's no, accident that you see Jesus displayed like this, because his hands in the world, his heart was in the world, and of course, the story goes that the nails were put through his hands, which were the heart, symbolic of the heart. So we have the opportunity to be in the world, to bring that consciousness, to bring that subtlety into the world and anchor it here. And it's not really fanciful. It is practical. So we can bring love into the world. So I want to jump into that aspect of love. We have access to omniscience, but we also have access to unlimited love. And the Greeks knew that there were different levels of love. There is eros love, which is sensual love, which is love of the lovable. There's philos love, which is love of the same thing. So sports fans, they know about philos love. They go to a football stadium, and you can feel that electricity going through that stadium, because that is love of the same thing. And we also have agape love. Agape love is unconditional love. It is that which a mother is embedded with. It is in her hard wiring, so that if her child is in a burning building, she, without a thought, will run in. No thought of self. It is unconditional. It is selfless love. And there's two more that were recognized when I worked with a group of people. And doing love is another one. So doing love has everything to do with how you are in the world, what you do in the world, that you can bring love in the world. And this is done through what we call the spectrum of love. But before we get to that slide, I'm going to talk, the synergy of love is also refers to this group of people. Synergy of love is when a group of people come together, motivated by love, to do something in the world also motivated by love. The synergy of their being together elevates that love to an either higher vibration. So acts of service, when a group comes together, you can see miraculous things happening. And I know there's a lot of things here that happen around the lake in different places, because people come together in compassion and in love to give a hand to people. So the doing love has to do with the spectrum of love. The spectrum of love, do we have the slide? Perfect. So patience, kindness, generosity, good temper, all of those that you see here. These are the virtues. These are, through each one of these virtues is a thread of love. There's no compassion unless there's love. There's no patience unless there's love. Why would you be patient? This person is an idiot. I mean, really. So this is what we can do in the world. This is how a crystal prism, invisible light passes through it, and suddenly on the wall you see a rainbow. That's why it's called spectrum of love. This is the spectrum of visible love in the world. So the way to get to that, it works both ways as well. It's like sympathetic resonance. If you practice patience, you activate love. If you practice love, you can be patient. It works both ways. So being in the world and making a decision, I'm going to be acting in the most loving way and practice these virtues. And I understand that it's very difficult. This is easy, very easy to say up here. It's a really tough thing in the traffic of Guadalajara to be patient. I get it. It's not an easy task. So one of the things that I'm going to read now, because I put the slide in the wrong order, is the psychological toxins. Psychological toxins are the opposite of the virtues, and they actually inhibit patience. So if you're impatient, you're not going to find patience. So all of these things here that you see, they are the psychological toxins. So the poet Rumi said, "Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it." So these toxins prohibit love. They are a block. And I understand this is the imperfect. This is the bad news of being human, that we're here in the world, we're imperfect, and these things, depending on our inheritance, our familial situation, our culture, all of these things that we, to some degree or another, have to deal with these. So the way to deal with them, again, is to bring love into the equation. Because if you bring love into the equation and you perhaps are feeling a lack of sincerity and you really want to be sincere, if you bring love into the situation, you will find that. So also I will, there's going to be a sign-up sheet, which I think I probably still have here. Afterwards, if you want these lists and the poems that have been read, I will send them to you if you give me your email and your name. Okay. Got that one. You can... Okay. No, you can keep going. Keep going. Yeah, very good. Sorry, I jumped ahead. My mistake. Scroll. Yeah, keep going. There you go. Okay, so, yes. So the dancing part. I was trained as a Whirling Dervish. And this was done, of all places, in Vancouver, British Columbia. When the Sheik of the Whirling Dervish in 1976 came to our gathering, and he was a short gentleman, Suleiman Dede. He was the spiritual head of the order at that point. It had been passed for 700 years, and he was the guy. So this was quite a revelation to recovering hippies that we were at the time. We were looking for something, we didn't really know what it was. And obviously, drugs didn't really do everything that we wanted them to do. So this gentleman, he arrived at our door, and he basically said, I don't care if you're Muslim, I don't care if you're Christian, I don't care if you worship fire. I'm here to plant the seed of love here. And he did. And so from that date, basically Rumi, Mevlana Jalaluddin Rumi, he became known in North America. And now it's told that he's the most read poet in North America. I've yet to be able to get the Google confirmation of that, but that's what's been passed. He was a prolific writer, and out of nowhere, he just began to whirl. And people thought, well, I really like where this guy is. Maybe if I whirl, I can get to the same place he is. And that was kind of the thinking by the people that followed him. So they created a ceremony, and this became a thing in Turkey. And in 1926, it was made illegal. by Kemal Ataturk because he wanted to modernize Turkey, among other things. I guess fascism is modernizing things. That's another topic. It went underground at that point. And so Süleyman Dede, coming from Turkey and bringing it to North America, he was ecstatic that we could do this in public, that there was no hiding, that he, and also he was Muslim, but he was not traditionally Orthodox Muslim. So his first dance master was a woman. This did not play well back in Turkey when they found out, I can tell you. But that's also another story. So I want to explain just briefly, before I run out of time, since we're all on that same page, about the turning and what it represents. So back to the being in the world and activating our greatness and using our greatness in the world. So the Whirling Dervishes, you see, they have hands up like this. It's symbolic. The one hand is receiving, the one hand is giving to the world, and you only watch what you're giving. You don't have to worry about this hand because there's more than enough in the universe to go around. So this is the hand that you focus on. And what the turn actually does, what the whirling actually does, is it harmonizes the head and the heart and the body. Because if any one is out of balance, if you're in your head, you're going to get dizzy. If you're in your body too much, you're going to throw up. So you have to really be heart-centered and use the other ones, because even in the ceremonies that they have, there's very complicated geometric movements, so you have to have a thinking brain operating to some extent. So I don't want to make this a performance. I want to make this participatory. I'm not going to ask you to get up and turn, because we don't want things on the floor and people falling over. I've been doing this for 50 years, so I'm well practiced in it. But I would encourage you to do what's called chair whirling. So chair whirling is, again, thinking about the sympathetic resonance, what we talked about before. You can come to the inner state. You can come to the inner state by whirling. But if you come to the inner state, you don't necessarily have to do the whirling. So I'm encouraging people, if they're willing, to basically make sure your feet are on the ground, that you're grounded, that you are comfortable, and that I would encourage you to breathe. And if you're so inclined, to breathe in and out of your heart. And when you breathe into your heart, you breathe all the unconditional, limitless love, and breathing out, you send it to the world. And that's basically what whirling does. And in the synergy of this gathering, there could be world peace. I'm not sure. So, okay, I think I'm going to have to take this off. And this. Yeah. Oh. Another moment, okay. So the music that you hear was composed by a friend of ours from Vancouver, and he is a very special person, violinist, and it's called A Song for All Seasons.
Nice to have our hearts nourished like that, right? To experience love coming in and love going out, and the fact that it's as simple as a breath. Thank you, Greg. Thank you. Our closing song is another familiar song by Cat Stevens, Peace Train. So let's rise and body your spirit, and we'll sing together.
Now I've been happy lately, thinking about the good things to come. And I believe it could be something good has begun. Oh, I've been smiling lately, dreaming about the world as one. And I believe it could be someday it's going to come. 'Cause out on the edge of darkness, there rides the peace train. Oh, peace train, take this country, come take me home again. Yeah, I've been smiling lately, thinking about the good things to come. And I believe it could be something good has begun. Oh, peace train sounding louder, ride on the peace train. Ooh, come on, the peace train. Get peace train, holy roller. Everyone jump on the peace train. Come on, the peace train. Get your bags together. Go bring your good friends too. Cause it's getting nearer. It soon will be with you. Come and join the living. It's not so far from you. And it's getting nearer. Soon it will all be true. Oh, peace train sounding louder. Ride on the peace train. Come on, the peace train. Now I've been crying lately, thinking about the world as it is. Why must we go on hating? Why can't we live in bliss? 'Cause out on the edge of darkness, there rides a peace train. Oh, peace train, take this country, come take me home again. Oh, peace train sounding louder, ride on the peace train. Come on, the peace train. This peace train, holy roller. Everyone jump up on the peace train. Ooh. Come on, come on, come on. Yes, come on, peace train. Hey, yes, it's the peace train. Come on, the peace train.
So these words are by Hazrat Haja Muhyiddin Chisti. He was a 13th century Sufi, and I offer these words for all of us. Love all and hate none. Mere talk of peace will avail you not. Mere talk of God and religion will not take you far. Bring out all the latent powers of your being and reveal the full magnificence of your immortal self. Be surcharged with peace and joy and scatter them wherever you go and wherever you are. Be a blazing fire of truth. Be a beauteous blossom of love and be a soothing balm of peace. With your spiritual light, dispel the darkness of ignorance, dissolve the clouds of discord and war, and spread goodwill and peace and harmony among the people. Never seek any help, charity, or favors from anybody but God. Never go to the courts of kings, but never refuse to bless and help the needy and poor, the widow and orphan, if they come to your door. This is your mission, to serve the people. Carry it out dutifully and courageously. So, do we have a minute? Okay, we do have a minute. Okay. So, do you want to, I'll tell the story first and then do the flame next? Okay, I have a quick story because Tim wanted to call me Reverend, but I told him I was irreverent. So, yeah. So, Moses was on his way up to Mount Sinai, and he passed a farmer planting his field. And the farmer went up to Moses and said, look, Moses, when you go up and talk with God, I'd really like you to ask him if he would give me 10 bushels to the acre. And Moses, taken a little bit back about the commonality of such a request, he said, sure, okay. So he gets up to Mount Sinai, and he's having his conversation with God, and kind of comes to the end. And God says, just something else on your mind you want to ask me? You go, well, yeah, there's this farmer down below. And he asked me if you would give him a harvest of 10 bushels to the acre. And God immediately said, no, I will not. So Moses thought, well, that was no big deal. Like, he could have done that pretty easily. Like, he parted the Red Sea. Like, 10 bushels to the acre didn't seem like much, but who knows? So he goes back down. And a few months later, he's walking by the same field, and the farmer is harvesting his crop. And the farmer comes up to him. He says, Moses, this is fantastic. I got 15 bushels to the acre. And Moses is shocked, shaken. He says, really? Oh, that's great. But he's thinking, did God make a side deal with this guy? Like, I thought I was his prophet. Like, really? He didn't tell me? So Moses goes up to Mount Sinai again. And at the end of the conversation, God says, something on your mind, Moses? Something you want to ask me? He says, well, yeah, God. Remember the farmer? Oh, yeah, the farmer that wanted the 10 bushels of the acre. He says, yeah, well, he got 15. He says, yeah, I know. He did it. I didn't. So I would encourage all of us to do our homework, to reach that place in ourselves that we may think is impossible only with God's help, but we're given all the tools. So thank you.
So let us extinguish our chalice with these words, which we'll read together, and then we're going to hear a closing postlude from Fernanda. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we keep in our hearts and share with all the world.
share with you the last bite of bread I had to eat. I was dreaming I would save you in your sea of broken dreams. When all your hopes are sinking, let me show you what love means. Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? I will whisper love so loudly, the laugh in this thing. But love and only love can join the tribes of men. I will give my heart desire so all that you might see. The first step is to realize that it all begins with you and me. Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Oh, love can build a bridge. But don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? Thanks so much.
Go and do some bridge building. And Lucy, shout out to you for hanging in there for the whole hour. Well, this does conclude our service, but our work is just beginning. So go out and let's meet this world with peace and with a purpose and with all the love in our hearts. Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Fernanda. Thank you, all of you. Bye-bye.